All right, I'm going to tell you guys about my first day selling life insurance. It was the craziest, probably first day story you've ever heard. It involves over $1 million, and it involves a New York capo gangster that used to work for, I forget who the guy was. It was somebody famous that was in New York. And anyways, I'm going to kind of just tell you guys about it. So basically, when I first started, I had shadowed a guy who was selling Medicare, so like all health insurance. And my first day my first day in the field was selling life insurance. So completely two different products. Didn't understand the process for life insurance at all. And it was pretty interesting because like when I got in, I didn't even know what underwriting was or anything at all. In fact, the guy that was training me told me like, if you can just get them to agree to the policy, like get them to buy and, just get their information and get the answers to the health questions, then you're going to get the deal. And I was like, what does that even mean? So it was a lot of stumbling forward, back and forth, and I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. So it was a process. I think it was probably about 3.5 hours to sell my first deal. It was disgusting. Might have been more. I don't remember. I know he got declined like 3 different times, 2 or 3 different times. I think it was like 2 or 3 different times. And I was sitting in this like weird dark house, and this guy, he was super cool, but he had like a really scary background. And I was in one of the most dangerous zip codes in my entire home state with one of the highest crime rates. And working in like kind of one of the lower income areas, actually the lowest income areas. And it was pretty it was pretty interesting. The room was really dark. He was talking about like his past. I know the guy said that he like pulled up his shirt and showed me like all these knife wounds and stab, like bullet holes and stabs and shit from when he was like a capo. So like he obviously wasn't kidding. And it was pretty intense, right? He had a ton of health issues, and we ended up getting him approved for a life insurance policy, which is cool. But I probably walked out to my upline's car like 6 times just because I had no idea what the hell I was doing. And it was pretty interesting, right? I overcame some objections and kind of got after it and everything, and I ended up selling the guy. Funny, actually, like a couple days later, he called me up, cussing me out, telling me he was going to come to my house. He knew where I lived and all this stuff, and then he was going to kill me, and that it had been a while, but he still got it and all this stuff because he got drafted early. And the funny thing was I actually set the payment up perfectly. He had another bill that came out, and he just like totally went off on the wrong guy. So he ended up missing his bill, and he was like, well, if you want to get me more insurance, like I was just like, after that interaction, I wasn't really interested in kind of working with him as a client, so I just dropped him. But that was like my first ever sale. Pretty insane. So anyways, for the rest of the day, I ended up going around door knocking, and I was just hitting door after door after door after door after door after door. And literally ended like middle of the day, maybe, I think I ended up selling this other lady a policy. But she told me that she had $1.3 million sitting in a bank account and that she had no idea what to do with it. And I knew that annuities were a product, but I didn't really understand like how this even worked or what it meant. Like I didn't even really understand the concept. I was so green. I had no idea what I was doing. And I went out and I walked out to my upline's car because like they had a policy you would work with your upline for like the first week. And I came out to the car and I was like, hey man, this lady she's got some bread, dude. She's got like almost $1.5 million just sitting in a bank account. Husband just died. She's got no clue what to do with it. And was like, do you think like, can you come inside? And he was like, yeah. Right now, for those of you guys like that don't know anything about annuities, like this was a annual salary worth of commission if I had gotten her into an annuity, right? And obviously those are not like a one call interaction or a one meeting interaction for that type of money, because that's obviously like her life savings, but like that's a life-changing amount of money. And so I was just like, mind blown. My first day in, I've made like, I think it was 2 sales, and I'm prospecting an annuity for almost $1.5 million, right? I'm like, what the hell, right? I'm like mind blown. And this, I haven't even started to sell any of the other products just yet, like I ended up learning how to do. So my mind is absolutely blown. And I'm like going through, and this is pretty much like my first day, right? I'm like, holy shit, like if it's like this, like my whole career, this is going to be bonkers. And so, that was kind of like my first day. I think it was pretty relaxed. Other than that, it was just mostly door knocking, setting appointments, nothing crazy. And, I ended up getting with just like some like other people that like nothing really panned out or whatever, and like nothing else really like shook out that day. I ended up finishing the week out, I think at like almost 7K in sales. It was like almost, I think it was like 6,800 in sales or whatever. And then I went on to be one of the top producers at the agency that I was working at. And so if you guys are watching this and you're like, dude, how the hell did you do that? Like, what does that even mean? I couldn't even imagine making that amount of sales. A few of the things that really kind of helped me was like realizing the value of leads and having a ton of them. That was like, I'll kind of give you like 3 tips out here to close this video out. I just wanted to like talk to you guys like super real, like letting you know like, how this stuff kind of worked for me or whatever. But for me, like what worked really well was having a ton of leads all the time, like constantly having leads, constantly like following up, reaching out, touching base with people, never taking no for an answer. Like even if you're not having the perfect response to like an objection, it doesn't even have to be perfect as long as you just try. Like one of the things that I live by is like, I cannot fail if I do not quit. And if that is true for you too, then you're just going to get a lot more business than you otherwise would. And then the third thing was also like not limiting myself in my belief, right? Like a lot of people were coming in and like, well, hey man, if you sell a policy in your first week, like you're going to be on track to have a solid career. Like if you can sell 2 policies in a week, you're going to be solid. I was like, screw that. How can I sell like, 6, 7, 8 policies in my first week and keep that going? And that's what I did. And I ended up becoming one of the top producers at that company. They have like almost 8,000 agents, I think, to date. And I was in the top 3 for like the first 2 months pretty regularly, and top 5 like all the time. So it was pretty cool. It was interesting and an interesting start to my career. And there was a lot of other crazy stories. So if you guys want to see more stories like this, let me know, drop a comment down below, and I'll show you guys some of the wildest stories about how I sold a policy at gunpoint, how I was chased down by Doberman, and some of the other crazy stories that are out there. Like, but I won't spoil the rest of it. But if you want to see those, comment down below. See you in the next one.